everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica, and today I have my update for my BYOP, or Build Your Own Palette. Pan That Palette. It's kind of a pan that palette, it's kind of not a pan that palette. This was a theme that myself and Dana suggested to the Pantastic Ladies, not for this year, but the previous year. We decided we wanted to do it anyway, even though it didn't win, because we just wanted to build our own palettes and kind of have some fun. So we have done that. This has gone through so many changes since we started. We started it in January of 2023. Then we keep going. We've refreshed and, brought in new stuff, changed what our goals were. It's really however you want to do it. There are no hard and fast rules, so anyone that wants to jump in, by all means, you can do that with us. This is going to be ongoing, so it is completely low pressure. Like I said, I've changed this up so many times. Last year, I just wanted to hit pan a bunch of things. Then I increased the size of my palette for this year, and then I worked on it like that for a while, everything to finish. And then I kind of changed that up a little bit to just hit pan on some things, finish other things. Then I changed it again, and I decided to go from my larger palette back to the original size palette because I was just overwhelmed, and it is working much better for me with this size. So definitely go check out Dana. She's going to be linked down below. She is like my cohort in this. We kind of started this together. She is on Instagram only, but go check her out and show her some love if you are on Instagram. And everyone that I know that is doing this along with us is going to be listed down below as well. If you want to join in, by all means, we'd love to have you pan this craziness with us. And if you know of someone that is doing this, let me know in the comments and I'll get them put into my description box. All right, so I'm going to show you a picture of what this looked like last month. And this is what it is looking like right now. This is looking so much better than I could have hoped it would look, which is why I'm very glad that I decided to go back down to this smaller size palette, because I'm able to make much more progress on things instead of spreading out my progress so that it doesn't look like I'm doing a whole lot. This really shows that I am making progress. So I'm going to go ahead and show you which two are rolling out. The first one is this shade right here. See if I can pop it out without like digging a fingernail into it. This is a Looksy eyeshadow. It is the shade Hot Rod. I love this one. It worked extremely well with my warm toned palettes. I have quite a few that I'm working on this year. The Marc Jacobs Fantasine. I have two from Essence, Bronze This Way and Coral Me Maybe. This goes with all three of those palettes very well. My goal was just to hit pan on this. I have a lot of Looksy shadows that are great toppers, and I decided just to bring those in for pan. So this one is going to be rolling out. I will need to replace this. And this pan here on the bottom, I'm going to pull that one out because that one is done. It is a shadow completed. This is from the Hema Be a Natural Nude palette. It was the second shade in that palette, and it was just really easy to use to set like my primer on my brow bone area because I have very oily eyelids. It works better for me to set that area, and that is how I primarily use this one. And she is done. So I'm very happy to have two shadows rolling out. So let's just talk about the rest of the stuff that is in here. These are Coastal Scents Frankens from my 88 palette that I attempted to pan and was unsuccessful on last year. This green has one full shadow and a little bit of this and a little bit of that to get this shade. I have made extremely good progress on this one. I'm actually hoping that this will be done by the next update because I have such good progress on that. This one here, also from Coastal Scents 88 palette. This has three different shadows from that palette in it to create this particular color. I have used it since the last update, but not enough that it really shows any progress. Moving on to this last one on the top row. This is a Coastal Scents Hot Pot. This is in Peach Puff. I definitely have expanded the pan on that. This one also works very well with my three orangey toned warm palettes. So that is how I've been using that one. We've already gotten Hot Rod out of here, so let's go into this one. It is a Coastal Scents Hot Pot in Ice Ballet. I have used it, but not enough that I think it actually shows any progress. This one, however, I have shown great progress on. This is from a Depotted palette. It was the Profusion Eyes Trendsetter palette, and I believe the shade is called Bruised. I have made massive, massive progress on this one. This is my primary use black shadow. It goes in every basket every week until it is done, and I have been doing some darker looks. I have not been filming in darker looks, but on even days that I wear makeup that I'm not filming, sometimes I'll really deepen like the outer V. Sometimes I'll do like the outer half of my eye in black and then put a bright topper over it. So I'm really focusing on this. I also use it frequently to set my eyeliner because, again, oily eyelids, if I don't set my eyeliner, it's going to, be all over my face, and nobody wants to look like that. I love Alice Cooper, but I do not want to look like him. So yeah, I set my eyeliners. And then we've talked about this one, the Hema that I finished, this one right here. And then the very last one, this is from Coastal Scents. It is a mica pigment that I pressed into this old pan in Winterveld, and I have made a little bit of progress down here. Hopefully you can see that I have slightly expanded that pan. I had just like a speck of pan there, and now I actually have very visible pan on this one. So that being said, I am very happy with the progress that I'm making on this palette. I'm so very thankful that I decided to change last update how I wanted to approach this palette, bring it down to a much smaller size, and yeah, I'm going to stick with that. I am going to replace the Looksy shadow with a Looksy shadow, and this is one that I actually had in my palette before I downsized, and I said that I was going to set these off to the side and try to bring them in if I had room in my palette, keeping with the smaller amount of pans in here. So I am bringing back Margarita, and I would like to only hit pan on this. I do have a little bit of a dip in it from where it was in this palette before. I still think it's going to take a while to hit pan on it because these things, they're very impactful and it doesn't take a whole lot. I either use my finger or I use a sponge tip applicator, just depending on the shade where I want to put it, and that means this is going to be very slow going. I'm okay with that. I don't need it to be hitting pan next month or anything like that. I just want to use it and enjoy it and top some of my not as amazing eyeshadows that I have all throughout projects. Like, I can take a boring eyeshadow and pop that on top and it's just going to go bam, and that's what I'm looking for. Sadly, I do not have another Hema shadow that will fit into this space that is nude enough or light enough that I can use to set my base, or like my primer. Wow, I couldn't think of the words because it's late. It is almost 1 o'clock in the morning, but yeah, that's when I film. So yeah, I don't have anything from that palette that will work. Everything that is left in there are slightly darker shades. So I'm actually going to bring in 2 eyeshadows, 2 very neutral workhorse eyeshadows to replace this one, because there's something in me, it's an OCD thing, like clinical OCD, where like I have to fill the space. And that's why I had problems with my previous palette, because I wanted to fill all of those spaces and it was just way too much. So I'm bringing in 2 shadows. The first one is going to be from the BH Cosmetics Bubs Beauty Bee palette. This is the shade Optimistic. It is extremely neutral. I do not think I can use it to set my eye primer. It is just too dark, but it would be a first transition shade for me. You can see right there, it is definitely going to be too dark to set anything with, though it almost blends in with my hand, but you can kind of see it right there. So I think that is going to be a good first transition for me, and my goal is going to be to finish that one, though I'm not in a rush to do so. And then I also have another depotted one. This is from the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. This is in Pecan Praline. It is very light, but it is the kind of shade that really pulls gray on my skin tone. Though it doesn't look gray in the pan, it really does pull gray on my olive skin tone. You can see that right there. It doesn't look as gray on my hands, but trust me, on my eyes, it looks very gray. So that one is going to be a work in progress because, one, it's Too Faced and it's matte, which is You know, they're very tightly packed. It's going to take some time, even though it is an older shadow. And the color, it's not going to be a standalone color for me. I feel like I'm going to use this with some stuff that's maybe a little bit too warm for me to kind of tone it down a little bit as a first transition with those really warm tones, because I have some orangey tones that are too dark, a little too warm for me, and I feel like that might help tone it down a little bit. If I can't find a way to make that work, I might just pull it out next month, or I might franken it to something that will help me work with those orangey tones. So if you have any suggestions on frankening possibilities, that if I get to that point, let me know. I will always, you know, take some color theory advice, because that is not my strong suit. I do like to franken, but I tend to like dabble with this, that, and everything else until I get to the right color. But because I'm not well versed in color theory, sometimes I kind of like fumble it a little bit, and it doesn't always work out exactly the way I want it to do. And then I have to add more of this and then more of that, and then the eyeshadow becomes really big, and then I have to use that. You know how it goes. You know how that one goes. So if you have any ideas of what I could possibly franken that with, should I need to do that, then let me know down below. Definitely go check out Dana. Like I said, she's going to be linked down below, along with everyone else that I know, that I'm aware of, that is doing this BYOP. And like I said, if you want to do it with us, by all means, it is completely no pressure. There's no real rules. Just pick some eyeshadows, have some fun with it. If you want to hit pan, that's cool. If you want to, you know, just have a certain number of uses, that's cool too. If you want to finish stuff, awesome. Whatever works for you works for us. All right, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until I see you on my next video, have a beautiful day.